Instead of putting shooting deep from the three like the Joker's pitching, ain't no baiting this. I can make it shit right like someone said. I'm about to sports is my medicine.
Yo, what's going on? What's good out there? This is D. Jeff, also known as the Doctor of Sports. Here's another episode of the Sports is My Medicine podcast. Thank you everybody for listening and watching, subscribing to the Doctor of Sports YouTube channel. That's DADRSPORTS. So the last few weeks, we're talking about the NCAA tournament, and here we are, Saturday, April 1st, April Fool's Day. We are now into the Final Four. Nobody expected to have this Final Four. I know it's been discussed ad nauseum for the past for the past week about who we have in the Final Four. With the Florida Atlantic being the number 9 seed, San Diego State number 5, and then you have Miami. I think they're number 5, and then they're 5 or 4, and then UConn at number 3. It's a foregone conclusion to everyone that UConn is probably going to win this national championship. They've looked like the best team throughout the tournament. They've been killing everybody. I also believe UConn is going to win. I think if all teams play their very best, UConn has the best chance to win. I'm hoping for Florida Atlantic, only because I would like to see someone come out of nowhere. A team that's not a blue blood, not a North Carolina, not a Duke, not a Kansas, Villanova. I would like to see a team like Florida Atlantic or even San Diego State, who got Michigan ties, go ahead and win this national championship. I would actually say I would like anyone other than UConn to win, just for the talk, just for people to have something to talk about when it comes to this tournament. We originally thought it would be the Blue Bloods, the higher ranked seeds in this Final Four. Fortunately, we didn't have a number 1 seed and the past the Sweet 16. So for the first time in history, but a lot of people is not happy about this Final Four. My opinion, they're not real fans. That's why you have a tournament. That's why you enjoy a 69 or 68 team tournament, because it gives everybody a chance. On a one-game situation, anybody can win, anybody can lose. That's been proven over the past few seasons, past few years. I guess everybody want the better teams in it because they feel like the better players will get the better games. Well, these guys played on the floor, and they proved that they can win against whomever because they did it on the floor. It's a reason why Duke isn't there. It's a reason why Kansas isn't there. It's a reason why North Carolina didn't make the tournament, because they got beat. It's just that simple. So for all you, I don't like the term hater. I never use it, but for all you naysayers out there that are poo-pooing and down-talking this Final Four because of who's in it, I think it's horrible as a sports fan, as a so-called sports fan, that you would feel that way when it's still basketball and these guys played and worked as hard as anybody to get to where they are. But we're not going to watch. People are not going to go. The Iowa-South Carolina women's game last night is probably going to those tickets were more than what the men's Final Four tickets cost, and that's okay. That's fine. But Florida Atlantic, San Diego State, and University of Miami deserve to be where they are. It's that simple. And the Blue Bloods don't. UConn is a blue blood, despite what everybody think, despite the fact that they don't get the national attention that all the other blue bloods get. UConn has won more national championships in the last 25 years than anybody. And if they win this one, they'll be tied with Duke for 5. So you do have a blue blood in there, but these other schools deserve the same amount of credit and the same amount of attention as anybody else would get. So stop with the bullshit narrative that because there's no higher seeds that the games won't be entertaining, because they will be. And the reason they're going to be entertaining is why we're doing this podcast this morning. And that's to talk about the reason why there's so much parity in college basketball, in my opinion. And the reason for that is three simple things. The first thing is going to be COVID. Because of COVID, that has allowed players to be eligible for an extra year. So say you redshirted as a freshman, and then you start playing as a redshirt freshman. So that's technically your second year. Then you play a third year, which would be your sophomore year, which is redshirt sophomore. Then you play a fourth year, which would typically be your senior year, but you're a redshirt junior. Then you play your senior year, you're a redshirt senior, and you've been there 5 years. But because you were within the COVID era, you get an additional season if you choose. So if you're not that good and you don't think you're going to go to the NBA, then you would take that COVID season and say, I'm going to go back to school. And now you're a 6-year senior. Why? Because you redshirted, and two, because you had a COVID year. You figure you're 18 when you go to school. Now you're 24. So some of these teams have players on their team that's 23, 24, 25 years old. Some of them redshirted. Some of them had to do a medical redshirt. So that means you're 2 and 3 years into your career as a college athlete. And then you get the COVID year. Now you're 6, 7 years into your collegiate career. You're 24, 25 years old. So a lot of these teams got players on their team that's, my son age, who will be 25 in April. So playing against a lot of 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, that makes a difference. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Me and my boys, I have four of my best friends. We call ourselves the Five, me, Milt, Marv, Kay, and Ray. We played all over the city of Detroit playing basketball as teenagers, 15, 16, 17 years old, and we were good. No matter who we played, we always played well. We always able to compete. But when we played against men, when we invited men to the gym that we played at, or we played the men that was already at our gym, the 21, 22, 23-year-old men, we got our ass handed to us a lot of times. Now, don't get me wrong. We handled ourselves, and we won some games, but we lost more against men than we did against guys our own age, because they're men. So let's not act like that don't matter, because it does. So the COVID year is one of the reasons why there's so much parity. The second reason is the NIL, the name, image, and likeness rule, where players are now allowed to get paid for their name, image, and likeness. That's a more broader issue than just parity in college basketball. So because of the COVID year, and then because of the NIL, college basketball has become, well, not because of COVID, but because of the NIL, college basketball has become a more of a business, a bigger business, not just business for the NCAA, but business for the players. Because now, because you're able to get paid, you're not deciding what school you go to based on a fit or comfort with the coaches or camaraderie with the players. Your high school teammate go there, or your sister go there, or your parents went there, so you have a attachment to the school. Nobody cares about that type of shit anymore. So the best players in the country aren't necessarily going to the best schools because the best schools are paying already giving the community, not the school, the community, the people, friends of the program, the companies that contribute to the program are giving these kids NIL deals to come to their school. Everybody can't get a deal. Everybody can't get the same amount of money. So if you know a guy's getting $1 million from Toyota and he goes to that school, Toyota's not going to give you $1 million as well. They might give you, 200, 300,000. But if you go to this other school, Buick might give you $1 million because you're going to be the best player at that school. So, name, image, and likeness, which I think is a good thing for NCAA. I'm not a big fan of paying players because it turns the game from amateurism to professional, in my opinion. But people were getting paid under the table anyway. They'll never admit it. They can admit it now. What's going to happen? I guess you could backtrack and give sanctions for doing something illegal before NIL came about. And there's still ways where you can do things illegally, but why do it illegal now when it's okay? And then the biggest issue is that the NCAA didn't want this. They didn't want the NIL, and they took this shit all the way to the Supreme Court. They tried to stop this from happening because they didn't want players coming in getting a ridiculous amount of money before they even stepped on the court. So they decided, okay, well, since you guys want this NIL, since you want to pay these guys, there's no rules. There's no sanctions. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do, however you want to do it. I don't care. So now, people get tampered with. Like I said, people getting a ridiculous amount of money. Bronny James is $7.2 million NIL money already, and he hasn't even decided on what school he's going to go to, or if he's even going to go to college. And he's getting that $7.2 million. He's making more money than the average, the lowest dude on the totem pole in the NBA. So NIL has allowed some of the better players to go wherever they want to go. They don't have to go to the Blue Bloods. They can go to the little small school and make just as much money as they could in the NBA. Hunter Dickinson, University of Michigan, is the joke among Michigan fans is he's not an NBA player, but why would he go to the NBA anyway when he's making more money in college than he will in the NBA? Because he's not an NBA player. So if you're not an NBA player, you got to stick around in college as long as you can, which goes back to the COVID year, because now you're going to take that COVID year, especially if you're not a guaranteed first-round pick or guaranteed lottery pick. You're going to take that COVID year because you want to continue to make that money in college. They talk about people using the NIL money to buy people's stuff and to do things for other people, and that's great. They're getting this money and they're doing things for the community. That's awesome, but it's hurting the game. There has to be some sanctions. There should be a cap on how much money a kid can get. As a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, there should be a cap on how much you can get coming in. The NCAA will, at some point, is going to have to make rules for this NIL stuff, or it's big business now. It's a bigger business than it already was. So that's the second reason why I think there's a lot of parity in the NCAA. And then the final reason, and I think probably an even bigger reason than the first two, is the transfer portal. I can't pinpoint when this exactly happened, but kids are able to transfer now and go wherever they want to go and not lose eligibility and play right away. I don't necessarily disagree with them being able to do that. Coaches do it all the time. They sign a 6-year deal and then they get an offer from a better school, and then they leave the school after recruiting all these kids. But what I do disagree with is kids being able to transfer multiple times, multiple schools, because they're not getting the playing time they want. What happened to the days of competing? I've always wanted to compete for my position. That's the fun of sports. It's competition. It's being able to say I did this and I got it on my own merit because I worked hard for it. So if you're playing at whatever school and they recruit some guys, you're gonna leave because you don't want to compete, or has the coaches told you, well, we're bringing these guys in, so y'all might as well leave? Well, that's what Dion did. Dion told them dudes at Colorado, hey, I'm bringing my luggage with me. You can either stay or you can go, but I suggest you go because the guys I'm bringing in are gonna play. That's some bullshit, and that's really fucked up if you ask me. But that's the world we live in now. The transfer portal has helped the University of Miami. I think they lost 4 players and they gained 4 players from the transfer portal. San Diego State, they got 2 players from the portal. Florida Atlantic got 1 guy from the portal, and I think UConn got 4 guys from the portal. Kansas State had 9 guys from the portal. They didn't have 1 guy. They had 1 guy on their roster who was returning from the year before. And they almost made it to the Final Four with a totally new team. The transfer portal makes you have to re-recruit your player every year. So if you recruit a freshman, he comes in and just say he played, 30 minutes a game, 25 minutes a game as a freshman. And then you go into the portal and you get a 6-year senior who averaged 30 in the Ivy League or the Sun Belt, and he's coming in. Now that freshman is like, well, what the fuck? He played my position. I played well last year, but you're bringing in a 6-year senior to help or to take his spot. Now you got to have a conversation with this kid. So now you got to re-recruit your own player. I've already recruited you once, but I got to recruit you again to keep you on my team. That's unfortunate, but that's the world we live in. So NIL, transfer portal, and the COVID year. This is our reality, folks. This is where we are. This is the NCAA. This is NCAA basketball. This is NCAA football. I'm sure it's NCAA wrestling, hockey, soccer, tennis, lacrosse. But these are the sports that we watch. These are the ones that we love. And this is what it's going to be like going forward until the NCAA makes changes in some of these rules. And they decided to just let it go as is because they was pissed off that they had to do it. The teams and schools and states were going to be allowed to do it. So we're going to have to embrace change. I've been called to get off my lawn guy many times because although I'm only 44, I'll be 45 soon, but I like the way shit was before. I'm okay with change, but when change start hurting the game and start hurting the amateurism in sports and college sports and my collegiate athletes, it bothers me. I don't know if it bothers you as much as it bothers me, but I love college sports because of the camaraderie, how you build and how you. I played NCAA college football 2014 on the PlayStation 3 because I continue to play that because of the recruiting tool. I love to recruit on NCAA college football. I love to be able to try to get players assigned to my school. I would love to do that in real life, to be a recruiter, a scout or something like that. Excuse me, but unfortunately, this is our life. This is NCAA football now. This is NCAA basketball. And I don't like it. I think it needs to be changes made. What type of changes needs to be made? Who knows? I gave a few suggestions, but ultimately, this is where we are. The COVID year is going to probably eventually stop. At some point, you're going to drown out all these kids that was in school during COVID year. But the NIL transfer portal is not going anywhere. The portal just hurt Michigan. Hunter Dickinson entered the portal. He's going to his senior year. I think it's a good thing for him. I think he's reached his ceiling. He can no longer do anything for the University of Michigan. But, it's guys like that. Look at the Love kid from North Carolina. He went into the portal. Just a year ago, he was, killing in the NCAA tournament, playing in the national championship game, and now he's transferring from the University of North Carolina. It's crazy, but this is our life now. What do you think about that? What do you think about the portal? What do you think about NIL? Take a listen. I hope you guys enjoy this weekend of sports. Major League Baseball started. What you guys think about the pitch count? We're going to get into all of that. The Doctor of Sports and the Sports is My Medicine podcast is going to be coming to you fast, quick, and furious. And we're going to have a lot of topics. Like I say, baseball just started. Go Tigers. You got NHL hockey coming up. The Final Four tonight, National Championship Monday. Did y'all enjoy that South Carolina-Iowa game last night? That shit was amazing. I don't even watch women's basketball that often. But good weekend of sports. Let's say Final Four, baseball. If you're a wrestling fan, it's WrestleMania this weekend. Like I am, I'm going to be in tune to all of it. But, this is where we are. I hope you guys enjoy this Final Four. I hope you guys watch it because it's important. It's important to watch because these kids are amazing. I don't care if they're old. I don't care if they're getting money. I don't care. They're playing basketball. And on the court, none of that matters. They ain't thinking about none of that when they're on the court. They're trying to win a national championship. The Final Four is going to be amazing. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys watch it. It's like I hope you guys enjoy my show. I hope you guys watch my show. And until next time, have a good weekend. Have a safe weekend. I am the Doctor of Sports, and sports is my medicine.
Shooting deep from the three like a joke and fishing ain't no bait near me. I can make it see the light like I'm a doctor of sports, and sports is my medicine.